Hey guys, DC Network here, coming at you with another video. Ever since HBO Max launched all those years back, I've been rather critical of its Cartoon Network library, or rather the lack thereof, because my expectation was when we heard that Warner Media was launching their own streaming service, I was expecting it to be like Disney Plus, in that every single property that you've had throughout your history will be on the service as long as there's no contractual obligations or legal reasons why you can't have a show on the service. And we've seen so far with HBO Max and now Max that really hasn't been the case. But recently I took a look at the Cartoon Network section on Max, and I've got to be honest with you guys, it is absolutely abysmal. There is such a wide variety of Cartoon Network series that are just straight up missing from the service, and I really just can't understand why. So just to give you guys a little bit of an idea of what I'm talking about, I'll run through some of the series that are on Max right now, and I'll put some screenshots up so you can see what I'm talking about. But for example, they have the original Ben 10. They have the Ben 10 reboot on Max, but they don't have Ben 10 Alien Force. They don't have Ben 10 Ultimate Alien. They don't have Ben 10 Omniverse. They do, although, have Ben 10 Race Against Time, but they don't have Ben 10 Alien Swarm. And when we had HBO Max, I remember a year plus ago, all of those shows I just mentioned, they were all on the service. Another example, we have a series like Over the Garden Wall, which I know there's been talks about that series being removed from Max, but as of right now it is still there. And there's also Long Live the Royals, another miniseries that premiered on Cartoon Network back in the mid-2000s. Those two miniseries are there, but yet there's no Infinity Train on the service, another miniseries that was on Cartoon Network. Obviously it ended up getting more seasons, but that's missing from the streaming service. Then we have shows like Teen Titans Go. Cool, we have some, superhero presence on Cartoon Network's page. We have the Powerpuff Girls and the Powerpuff Girls reboot. Okay, some more superhero presence. You then have shows like The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. You have shows like Ed and Eddie, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Codename Kids Next Door, but yet there's no Camp Lazlo. There's no Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Where is that series? Why is that missing from the streaming service? It used to be there before. Then you have some more modern Cartoon Network series like Adventure Time, Regular Show, Steven Universe, The Amazing World of Gumball, even Apple and Onion and We Bare Bears, but yet there's no mention of shows like Victor and Valentino or OKKO, Let's Be Heroes, Mighty Magiswords. Where are all these other series that premiered around the same time? I'll give you guys one final example to prove this point of mine, but we have a show like Chowder on the service, but there's no Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack. I would argue that those two series, they premiered around the same time. They were very big on Cartoon Network at that point in time in the late 2000s. So my whole thing with Max and HBO Max, even, the prior streaming service, is there's so much missing from Cartoon Network. What's the point of the Cartoon Network section when you have so much missing? I only gave you guys a handful of shows. I could honestly talk for about 15 minutes if I just listed off all the shows that are missing from this service. There's just so many. I mean, it's completely and utterly ridiculous. I understand that Warner Brothers Discovery and Warner Media at the time, there's a lot more to them than just Cartoon Network, but I feel like Cartoon Network is definitely one of your more iconic brands, especially for the kids who grew up watching it. And the fact of the matter is, you omitting all these shows from the Cartoon Network library on your streaming service is kind of just a smack in the face to people who grew up with these series and people who are giving money to you to use this service. To me, it feels like they're just not really thinking about you as a consumer. They're completely skipping all of these people who grew up in this era, all these people who like these shows, in favor of targeting people who are either older or younger than you by having some younger shows on the service or having some older classics on the service to get them on it as well, to get the older generations on it. And this issue stems even deeper than this, because I've said this before, but in my opinion, Warner Media, when it was owned by AT&T, Cartoon Network was never really a priority for them. It was never really a priority for their, ideas or for their initiatives going forward with their branding. And I get it, it's a kids channel and you have other properties that are much more valuable to you from a financial perspective. But in my opinion, if you feel that way about Cartoon Network and it's not that valuable to you, then why don't you just sell it? The same thing goes for Warner Brothers Discovery. We've seen countless time and time again that they're really not prioritizing Cartoon Network. I can tell you right now that that there's other bigger plans that they have over at the company that don't involve Cartoon Network. Like, I can tell you right now, they care much more about the DC live action universe of films than they do Cartoon Network, because what's going to make them more money? Obviously those DC films. But nevertheless, I'll say it again, if you guys don't care about Cartoon Network, then just sell Cartoon Network to somebody who does, because there is a whole fan base that genuinely does care about the properties that were born on this channel, that aired on this channel, and you guys clearly don't. I mean, I really can't fathom to you guys. I've said this countless times, but Ben 10 is the biggest franchise they've ever created from a financial perspective, right? It went on for 5 series. It's huge for the network. How is it that you have the original, you even have the reboot, but you don't have Alien Force, Ultimate Alien, and Omniverse? You have one of the live action movies, but not both of them. That just doesn't make any sense to me. I just would love to hear a logical explanation as to why these shows, why that movie, why all these shows that are missing are not there. The thing that I feel like it is just a lack of, I don't want to say a lack of foresight, but I really feel like a lot of it is just they don't want to spend the money to put these shows onto the service because they feel like not a lot of people would watch them. I can argue against that point with some of the lesser known series, but at the same time, it's like, okay, but how much money is it really costing you guys to have, you know, Class of 3000 or Squirrel Boy or shows like that? How much is it really costing you to put that up on a server for whenever someone wants to watch it? I don't think it would cost all that much. On top of that, you guys did raise the price of this service when it relaunched as Max. It's now much more expensive to get 4K content than it was before. I believe it was $15 a month before, and now it's $20 a month. So I think you guys can afford to have a few extra shows on the service. It's just, I don't know, all in all, streaming in general, maybe I'll make a video at some point in the near future about streaming landscape as a whole, because it's not doing that well if you guys haven't noticed, and I genuinely wonder what the future of a lot of these services will be over the next 3 to 4 years. Anyways, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think about all this. How do you guys feel about the whole Max situation with Cartoon Network's library, and just how Warner Brothers Discovery views Cartoon Network as a whole? If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more content like this from DC Network. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.